What's up, Titans Tube? Welcome to our reaction podcast. We have just gotten home from the game. As you can see,
I look ridiculous.
It was a very, very hot one.
I need some aloe for these burns.
Yeah, you look pretty burned.
I'm a cherry.
My face is pretty burned.
Just a cherry sitting over there.
It was hot. It was a tough one. It was hot to be a part of. Luckily, I've cooled down a little bit, calmed down a little bit.
Not me.
You're not? Okay, good. And let's we'll get right into this. Okay, Titans lose. We lost to the Raiders 17-10. Very close one at home. 0-2 at home this year.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. Let's starting with the offense and the.
All right.
You wanna just break down the pros and cons of the offense?
Pros and cons. I have a few notes here on offense. We can go with the pros first because there's definitely a lot of cons here. The running game was strong. It was great. DeMarco Murray ran like a beast today. Derrick Henry also ran like a beast. DeMarco Murray had over 100 yards rushing, got his first rushing touchdown on the year. First
100-yard running back since CJ2K.
Yeah.
So that's a big note there.
Thank goodness. Yeah, finally we got a running back over the century mark. But yeah, Murray was also effective in the passing game as well. So he's standing out as our best player on offense for sure this year. So great game by Murray. Our recently signed tight end, Jason Morrow, kind of had an unexpected impact in this game. He led our team in receptions and yards, or at least yards.
Yeah, three receptions for 59 yards.
Yeah,
so.
had a couple big plays for us. But yeah, other than that, our offense was just had a hard time finding a rhythm all game long. We took the first drive, got a field goal out of it, and then just had nothing for the rest of the first half. Let's see. I mean, obviously, Mariota is gonna get a lot of hate this week, I think, for his play today. I think this is one of the worst games that he's played as a Tennessee Titan. Had some turnover issues. He gave the ball away 3 times. One of the times didn't really affect us because it was at the end of the half, and luckily the clock ran out before the Raiders could set up a field goal attempt after one of his interceptions. But yeah, just Mariota looked off today. Was missing throws, making bad decisions. Thank goodness our defense kept us in the game, so Mariota was miraculously quite nearly had that game-winning touchdown drive at the end, or game-tying touchdown drive, I should say.
Yeah.
That was the best he looked the entire game. I mean, but for the first 58 minutes of the game, he was looking poor. I don't know, do you want to add some things? I know I'm just
let's stay here on Mariota because I feel like this is a big focus. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously it's a big focus. It's quarterback position, so most important position in football, arguably. Mm-hmm. But this was his 15th start as an NFL quarterback, and he went 17 for 33, 214 yards, 2 interceptions, and lost a fumble. Mm-hmm. And if you watch the game, which we did, he just looked off and uncomfortable pretty much through the whole first half for sure. Onto the second half, I feel like we gained a little bit more momentum. And then on the final drive, he looked the sharpest he had all day, but still just couldn't complete the final drive. And I've heard some other people talk about this, but do you think he's like regressing in his second year? Like hitting a sophomore slump? Because he just doesn't look, even against Detroit last week, we said the same things about him through the first 3 quarters, even into the fourth quarter, besides that final clutch drive. He just looks uncomfortable and like...
Yeah, there's something going on there, I think, with him this year. I don't know if he's regressing in a sense, but his development seems to be halted a little bit. I know we were listening to the Titans Talkback radio guys, and they were saying that, something that I agree with is that his development, it seems to be stymied a little bit.
Yeah. Stymied. That's the weird word of the day. I think that word is just weird. Stymied.
It's a weird how it rolls off the tongue. But anyway, something about his development. Something's going on there. I don't know if it's the system that he's running this year. Maybe somehow in Wisenhunt's system he was more effective. But I don't know. We brought in all these weapons around him. He has a good running game now, as was shown today. But he was still just missing throws, making poor reads up until that final drive. I mean, he has the clutch factor, I think. I mean, he led us all the way down the field. But yeah, only putting up 10 points on the board on the Raiders defense, who was coming in as the last ranked defense in the league.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like from the snap, he looks at his primary receiver and that's it. Like, if that guy's covered, then he kind of just shuts down. Several times where on his scrambles and then on I think he took 2 sacks or maybe just 1 sack.
It felt like he took more than 1 sack.
Yeah, but it's just like if he takes the snap and immediately looks towards his primary guy. If that guy's not covered, he kind of panics, which wasn't what he was doing last year. I felt like he was going through his reads.
We were praising him because he was looking like a veteran quarterback going through all of his progressions.
And now it really looks like he's just kind of focused on that primary guy or focused on the play working out. And if it doesn't, it looks like he's panicking, kind of going into a rookie format where he doesn't know what to do and just kind of shutting down and then making mistakes, mainly turnovers. I mean, I heard a stat on the radio on the way home that he's now leading the league in turnovers this year.
Yeah, I think he had 2 against Minnesota, had 1 last week, had 3 this week. So that's 6 turnovers this year.
6 turnovers already in 3 games. Averaging 2 turnovers a game is horrendous. So, I don't know. I still love Mariota. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, let's not get too down on him. Yes, he had a bad game. Yes, he had mistakes. Did it cost us the game? We're probably going to talk about that last drive a lot. But, I mean, we were still in position to tie up the game, maybe win it if we went for 2, if we had gotten a touchdown. But, come on, we can't get too down on the guy. He's still really young. I mean, Steve McNair, he's our best quarterback in franchise history. He had games where he'd go out and throw 3 picks, and it was looking bad. But, hey, it's 1 game. We're still early in the season. We've got time to figure things out. But I did want to go back and say on one of his interceptions, just staring down receivers. I remember he had one to Rashard Matthews. It was a super tight throw into Matthews. I think he was double covered as well, and the defender was just in a better position to make the play. Just poor decisions and not looking like he's not going through his reads like he once was.
Well, and we talked about it during the game, even on some of his completions, like 7-8 yard completions, he's throwing into tight triple coverage, and it's like, man, we are really struggling to get those 6-7 yards, or he's just making the wrong reads on his throws. You know what? I thought a big hit for our offense today was not having Delaney Walker. I think it really makes it obvious that we don't have the playmakers around Mariota to kind of stretch the field and get separation from the defensive backs. Without Delaney there, DeMarco is really kind of standing out as our only guy who's as our only threat or weapon to the defense. Yeah, I know Sharp's had a nice season, but he's not a guy that's going to stretch the field. Rashard's been solid, nothing special.
Right.
Yeah, Amaro came in and led our team in receiving, but they're still just not the weapons that Delaney is. I'm glad Murray's stepped up because, God, I don't know where we would be if Murray was on the team this year. But yeah, I think it's definitely kind of an eyesore, it stuck out this game, especially with Delaney not being on the field, that we are lacking weapons in our receiving core, especially on offense. So it could be a part of Mariota's poor play through the first few games.
Yeah, definitely missed Delaney Walker, who is definitely, I think, Mariota's favorite target. It was last year, and had a great game against Detroit last week.
I think Titans have always known to look towards tight ends a lot in the passing game. And I think that's kind of a safety blanket for young quarterbacks too. So, missing Delaney Walker really hurts. He's not your average tight end, so the sooner we can get him back, the sooner.
And Kendall Wright too. I mean, say what you want, he's injury prone, he can be inconsistent, but he is a weapon, and the sooner he can get on the field, I think the better for Mariota, just to have another guy, that can make plays. Let's see.
End of the day, though, we're not going to win a lot of NFL games turning the ball over 3 times, especially just from the quarterback. We don't have the weapons to recover from blowing 3 drives on turnovers.
Yeah.
We don't really have that big play guy. We can't make huge plays. I mean, even DeMarco he's broken a few long runs, but he doesn't have that CJ2K home run speed where he can break a 70-yard touchdown run. I mean, he can get 50, 60 yards maybe. He broke a 36-yard today, but we just don't have those weapons to overcome such mental mistakes as turnovers, which is a major knock on Mariota right now. Yeah. It was through I think he lost 10 fumbles And last year, he's already got 6 turnovers through the first 3 games this year.
Man, yeah, we definitely need to. He needs to harp on that and work on not.
Even just saying it sounds like really bad. Like, ooh, Mariota, bro.
Yeah, he's got to definitely work on the turnover issue because putting our defense in bad positions. But I want to get to this. The very end of the game, somehow we were still in position to tie the game. Tajay Sharp makes a great play, catches the ball, fights for the end zone, gets tackled at around the 3-4 yard line.
Yeah,
and looking like we were going to get 4 downs to get those 4 yards to tie up the game.
And still had like a good 45 seconds when we got that. Is that correct on that? I feel like we had a good 30 to 40 seconds still.
And maybe we might have still had our timeout.
Yeah, we definitely still had a timeout. So
plenty
of time.
And we were running all over them that drive. We were beating up the Raiders on that last drive.
Passing all over them.
Passing all over them. I think they were just run down and tired at that point.
It
was hot today. They were in their black jerseys and they were chasing around DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. I think we were wearing them down, and I think we would have gotten that touchdown at the end. But after the completion of Tajay Sharp, Taylor Lewan makes quite possibly the dumbest play I've ever seen a Titans player make. I mean, it was just ugly and bad. He comes flying into the pile, I was celebrating, so I kind of missed the tail end of it, or the front end of it. But he flew in. I don't know what he was doing. What was he thinking? Trying to push Tajay Sharp in. I think the play was like pretty much over, and he needs to relax. He needs to chill out. I know he plays with a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion, but you have to be smart in that situation when the game is on the line.
Especially in situations like that. I mean, we've just driven down the field in like 30 seconds. I mean, emotions are high.
Insanely efficient drive.
Yes.
I can't believe we got down the field that fast.
Emotions are high. It's during that time where I feel like he loses it and he snaps. And it's not just, he's had penalty issues his whole career so far, which hasn't been that long, but it's those moments where it's like, man, you make a boneheaded play, it can really cost your team.
And he was doing so good. I don't think he had a penalty last week against the Lions.
We praised him last week for not even having one penalty. He hadn't had a penalty at all today, until that final one.
Until this last drive, and it just killed us.
But it's funny because I know that rule of where players diving late onto piles was kind of added in recently. I would definitely say within the past 3 years. I'd have to stat check that.
There's no reason for it.
I've already seen, even in the first 2 games, I remember a few instances, I can't point them out exactly, but where Taylor kind of came in late to piles. He's always kind of been known to do that. I'm like, man, he's going to get flagged eventually, and it came today.
I did see him in the preseason do that a couple times, I remember. And I'm like, dude, what is he doing?
I see him do that every time.
And
he hadn't been flagged for it. Yeah, but I was like, man, there's going to be a time where it hits him. He comes in late on the pile, and he does it. But okay, here's another thing real quick, and this is kind of officiating. I don't know if we'll talk about this more later, but and we brought this up last week with Detroit with all the flags, is the inconsistency, because you were right, the play was dead, by far dead. Richard had been struggling, his forward progress was stopped.
I thought it was Tajay Sharp.
It might have been Sharp.
We thought about this. I don't know. Whoever it was.
I lost my brain after the interception, my mind, but I thought the play should have been blown dead by that time. Where last week, the whistle-happy refs are blowing the play dead before Stafford's even on the ground on that fumble play. Yeah. But I thought that play should have been blown dead probably a second early, and they're just baiting Lewan or someone else to come jump on that pile, try to push Rashard Matthews in.
It is dangerous to keep a play like that alive when you have a handful of players struggling to get position and progress. And
I think his forward progress had definitely been stopped, and yet there were still a few seconds here and there of like tugging and fighting, and that's when Lewan came in late. So that's just got to be tightened up on the officiating core. I'm not blaming that play mainly on the officiating, but I think it's kind of like, if you wave a slice of pizza in front of a dog, eventually I can't get mad at him for trying to bite it.
Yeah.
If the play is left open, someone's going to keep keep on tackling and making plays. So
for sure, either way, it was just a stupid play by Lewan. Holy crap! I think that was dumber than when Albert Hainsworth stepped on that Cowboys lineman's head. This was dumber than that because the game was on the line. I think we were getting blown out against the Cowboys when Hainsworth stepped on the dude's head. But goodness gracious. And again, with the consistency, I don't want to put it on the refs because that's That's what losers do. But when Andre Johnson
We lost, though.
Yeah, so we can complain about the refs. But when Andre Johnson caught what we thought the game-tying touchdown catch, got called for pass interference. I want to see a replay of that. I haven't seen a replay of that play yet, so I'm not sure if Andre Johnson actually shoved him, but it seemed like kind of ticky-tack, and the defender fell down, but I don't know. I need to watch it again. And then whenever we had our last play to Harry Douglas, he was getting tangled up with the Raiders defender, and they didn't call anything. So if Andre Johnson's was just as ticky-tack as when Harry Douglas had contact down there on the last play, it's just a consistency thing that's really frustrating to see with the officiating.
Both critical moments in the game where judgment calls were made, and they both happened to go against the Titans on that play.
I think that if Taylor Lewan had a brain, we wouldn't have been in that situation. Yeah, exactly. We would have just pounded the ball up the middle, and we probably would have scored.
End of the day, I think Taylor Lewan's boneheaded play cost us that final drive. But even then, we're looking at the final drive. Through the first 3.5 quarters, our offense was bad.
We should have put up way more than 10 points on this team. We had no rhythm in the passing game. And the running game was great. And there were some times when we called pass plays that didn't make sense, and when we did, it killed drives. There was more than one drive. I know we were running the ball well, then on 1st and 10, we call a pass play. I remember one in particular to Harry Douglas. We lost 4 yards, and that killed the drive.
Like a little kind of screen, kind of quick out to the left.
And they were, in the second half, they weren't really, I felt like they weren't able to stop Murray or Henry. We were wearing them out in the second half.
We were. Henry looked good on his runs. He finished with 10 rushes for 45 yards.
Man, he bounces outside way quicker than you expect.
He does. I would almost like to see, Murray's killing it, but I kind of would like to see, Henry get 20 rushes one game, see what he could do with that.
It was a good split, 16 carries for Murray, 10 for Henry.
Yeah. I mean, definitely our running game is getting production. There's no doubt about it. I think the run blocking is strong. Yeah. So no problems there. I just think, man, especially if we can't get our pass game going, defense is going to start to stack the box, and it's going to get a lot harder. Anyways, anything last on the offense before we move on
to the defense? We need to lean
Mariota really struggled. We need Walker back. Obvious that our threats, our weapons in the receiving game are absent when he's not on the field. I can't wait to see Kendall Wright get back too.
Yeah. Excited to get him back. We can go to the defense though.
Okay, yeah.
Let's first of all, hats off to the defense. That for the 3rd straight game, they bent but did not break. We gave up plays. The secondary still shaky, still very frustrating. Just on particular plays when either we seem out of position, our guys aren't turning around to look for the ball. There was a few times when that happened, and it drove me crazy. I think Parrish Cox, not another good game for him.
Not as bad as Detroit. Not as blaringly bad as his Detroit game. Yeah, I will say that. But
he missed at least one tackle, I know, to give up a first down.
Bryce McCain got burnt on that touchdown to
that
what's
was
his name?
bad.
Roberts. Yeah, he just ran around him. On an easy just pass to the short flat.
Yeah. But hey, the defense overall, and also I guess kind of a con on the defense. I don't think we got sufficient pressure or consistent pressure on Derek Carr. We did get 1 sack on him, but he seemed like he was able to sit back there and pick us apart. It felt like he was picking us apart, but again, we gave up 17 points. We gave up 0 points in the second half to the Raiders, which is outstanding. Because, again, they have a great offense, a high-flying offense through the passing game. Again, the second half adjustments were on point. We didn't give up, like I just said, any points to them.
So that's like,
they
especially
in the game.
Going back to Detroit, in the last 2 second halves, we've only given up 3 points. We gave up 3 points to Detroit in the second half last week. Mm-hmm. No points this week. I mean, if you could tell me that we would have only given up 17 points to the number 1 offense in the NFL, shutting them out in the second half.
Yeah, I would say
most teams should win that game, but our offense is looking that bad right now where we can't put points on the board.
It seems backwards from going into the year and what we saw in preseason.
It really does.
The defense is giving up touchdowns. But our offense is getting production. Now it's flipped. Like who knows in the NFL? It's crazy.
No, overall, I thought defense was really good. If there was a weak point, it was once again I didn't think we got the pass rush on Carr, but Carr didn't tear us apart. I mean, look at his numbers: 21 to 35, 249 yards, 1 touchdown. We did force that 1 interception on the tip ball, and his longest pass was to Crabtree for 31 on that scramble, which showed he didn't hit us for any big plays through the air.
Or was that the first play or their first offensive play, that long pass to Crabtree, and then they ended up scoring a touchdown pretty shortly after that?
I think this was one when you were getting food.
Oh, yes.
And we actually did get some pressure on Carr. I remember a few times where we put some pressure on him, made him scramble out of the pocket, but we only got 1 sack on him. But on this particular play, he scrambled out and then kind of threw it deep, kind of a 50-50 ball, and Crabtree came down with it, which is kind of also negative to our defensive backs. Like you mentioned, they're not getting their heads around.
Yeah, I did see that.
And we're losing those 50-50 balls. Receivers are consistently beating Cox and McCourty and McCain.
Well,
thank God we don't put Blake in there. But even then, I remember that one play Blake did came in where he noticed that he got burned immediately.
Yeah, I called it. I said, why is Blake playing so far off? They only need 6 yards. Crabtree runs a slant and gets 7 yards. Easy
first down for the Raiders. Number 1 offense in the NFL. But overall, we did very well at containing them. Especially in the second half, just completely shut them out. I think if I was more of a Raiders fan, I would have been like, man, our offense could not get anything going in the second half because they really couldn't.
Yeah.
They did break a few long runs with actually Washington, their rookie. We held Latavius Murray in check for the most part, besides for that first run on their first offensive possession. But
seriously, yeah. So after their first possession where they scored a touchdown. Well, okay, then they had 10 more points in the second quarter, and that was it. That was all that they scored for the whole game. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I was just praising our defense again for locking down after that. Defense,
wow. We thought that was going to be the issue coming into this year. Through the first 3 games, it's been the thing that's saving us, honestly. And it's keeping us in games until Marcus can get clutch in the last drive. Down to the last drive, the last down of the last drive is what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
We made that play last week, could not make the play this week.
Thank you, Taylor Lewan.
Yes, thank you, Lewan. God!
Man, there was no doubt in my mind we would have, because I brought this up too. Well, this was after the touchdown to Andre Johnson that got called back. We had offensive linemen putting up the go for 2 sign. We were going to go for 2, so like I was saying, I think the Raiders were getting worn down. And so if we had gotten that touchdown, ran a play to go for 2, I think we had a good chance to win the game.
No doubt we had the momentum on their side. And actually, I don't know if you heard this, in Malarkey's post-game or interview right after the game in the locker rooms, he said that he was going to go for 2 if they had gotten that touchdown. And I think that would have been the right call. I know our 2-point conversion plays have been atrocious this year, but we had all the momentum. Especially that drive was solid.
I could not believe how quick we were moving the ball. It started at like our 10.
Yeah, it really did. No, we it was a touchback, so we got it to 25.
Oh, you're right.
But yeah, we went down the field in 4 plays. We should have been at like the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
4 plays. And yeah, I think it would have been the right call to go for 2. I know, pull a little Jack Del Rio on Jack Del Rio. Stick it in the gut of Oakland.
Yeah, that would have been karma.
But penalties did it to ourselves. Turnovers, costly penalties, and we come up with a loss. But
it's just crazy.
Hats off to the defense for sure.
Okay, for sure. Hats off to the defense. Kept us in the game. The big stat, though, again, for both teams, we lost the big one, the turnover battle, 3-1. Because other than that, we outgained them in yards by 25 yards. We had 2 more first downs than the Raiders. Both teams committed 8 penalties each. The one at the end was the crucial knife in the heart penalty that it destroyed me.
Yeah. We beat them in time of possession by 1 minute and 54 seconds.
So it was very even across the board the entire way. Again, it seems like all of our games are like this, except for the turnover battle. And the only game when we were even in the turnover battle was against the Lions, and we won that game.
Yeah.
So, I think this team is better. This team is better than what it was last year, in my opinion. I see a better product on the field overall. But for somehow Mariota does not seem to have taken that next step for whatever reason, whether if it's the system or him, his decision making. Maybe teams have started to figure out his strengths and weaknesses and they're playing to his disadvantages. But I still like this team. I think we're getting better. We've got to learn how to take care of the ball. I mean, we got to learn to continue to finish out games and win in the fourth quarter.
I mean, it's still extremely early in the year. This is only game 3. We're only a game out of first place in the AFC South, which we're going to play the Texans next.
That's huge. The Jacksonville Jaguars lost again today.
Colts are currently losing to San Diego.
So, hey, huge game next week against the Texans.
Yeah, so we're still right there in the heat of it.
Yeah, still super early in the season.
I just think, so far, a glaring issue is our threats, our weapons in the receiving game, especially without Delaney, and on offense in general. I know our running game is strong. Murray and Henry look like weapons, but in the receiving game as a whole, I like Tajay and I like Rashard Matthews. Harry Douglas isn't going to do much for us as much as we want him to. Andre Johnson looks a little over the hill. He didn't have a
catch all game. He had the almost game-winning. I wish it was the game-winning catch. That would have been his only reception, just like last week was the touchdown. But
yeah, and I don't want to
wasn't involved.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I thought it was a glaring omission to today's offense. There's no threats for the other team's defense to really focus on besides Murray. I mean, and I think that's part of Mariota's struggle early this year, is we don't have we're not making separation from the defense. The wide receivers aren't getting separation on the defensive backs. And if Delaney's gone, we have no offense, no threats.
Ironically, last year, of course, Delaney Walker was our best receiver, but our actual wide receiver making plays for us was Dorial Green-Beckham, and we traded him away. Not saying that if he was on the team, Mariota would be putting up big numbers with him.
But he just has that threat to the defense where, oh, God, this guy could go deep at any second. Yeah. And we are extremely lacking in that category right now. I know we threw it at once that I can remember this game to Andre Johnson where Mariota overthrew him, and that was it. I mean, defenses are going to start stacking the line if they don't think that we're threatening them for long pass plays down the field.
Yeah. Delaney Walker is the only true deep threat really we have, and he's a tight end. And if we don't have that back or him back, then there's no reason for defenses just to stack the line and trying to stop Murray. But even though he ran well today, despite not having a passing game, I'm not sure what Oakland's defensive game plan was. No. I wasn't really paying attention to that, but
okay, back again to Lewan real quick. This is his fifth year in the league, and he's had penalty issues, kind of anger issues. There we say some
anger, just
rage
hot
problems.
Emotion.
Yeah, hot-headed, bad penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct his whole career. How long before that really takes a toll on the coaches, trusting him? I know he used to be a captain. He's not a captain anymore, which I think is the right call. But there's a point where it's like, man, you're making enough boneheaded plays to where we can't even trust you, as a starting position. Does that ever happen?
Yeah, but he's still a good left tackle, though. I mean,
he's good.
It's hard to grade that.
When I think of Taylor Lewan, all that comes to my mind right now is penalties. And I know I'm not a very good grade of offensive lineman by any means. I base it on production of the team, based on production of the running game, pass protection.
But penalties are easy to single out.
Penalties are easy to single out, and it's definitely easy to single out when it comes to Taylor Lewan, especially in instances like today where he pretty much cost us that final touchdown on the drive to tie up the game.
But it's ironic because he wasn't getting penalized in the last couple of games, and then
he's done well this year.
It's he saved up the last 2 games to just give us the worst blatant penalty of all time.
He's like, okay, I've gone almost 2 whole games without a penalty. I gotta just hit somebody. God, Lewan. I don't know. As a coach, that would really frustrate me to the point where it's like, would it be worth maybe taking away playing time from him if this stuff keeps happening? Because it's been a consistent. I know it hasn't been as consistent this year, but over his career, there's multiple instances where he kills drives, kills momentum, costs us game-winning drives, game-tying drives from boneheaded, just not like holding calls where Marcus is about to get sacked or he's about to get beat. Stuff like this, where he just shoves somebody or jumps in the pile late.
It's very his penalties seem also very untimely. Like, at the worst possible time when we do not need a penalty, he commits the penalties.
But that's just something on the one. I definitely think he needs to shape up.
I don't think we're going to take his playing time out or anything. Because I think that's part of the offensive line whole deal is they need to play together. They need to gel together. I mean, unless he just can't stop committing penalties and we got to start somebody else there. But
I just
don't
know
think that's
I was
gonna
seeing some stuff on Twitter about people saying that it might be time to bench him or like when's
no.
the time to get rid of him. So I just wanted to bring that up. What your thought was?
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think
that's overreaction.
Fundamentally, he's still a solid left tackle. He's a left tackle, right?
I mean, penalties and dumb crap like that is correctable easily. I mean, you got to drill it in his head like, yo, just calm down. There's no reason to overreact. Know the situation.
But I'm saying it's his 4th or 5th year, and this stuff is still happening late in games at critical moments.
Yeah.
How much can we take of this, Lawan? Anyways.
Making me sad, Lawan. Making me sad.
Anything with coaching stuck out to you?
Coaching. I guess, I don't know. What aspect of coaching, though? Like play calling? I said this when we were talking about the offense. Just going to the pass whenever it didn't seem necessary, and Mariota was struggling in particular, and the offense was just struggling in general. The only thing working for us was the running game, and even on drives, we would go to a pass, and right when we went to the pass, we killed the drive.
Mm-hmm.
Mariota
it's
would
like
get sacked,
we would get 2
a
first downs on the drive by running it, kind of pounding it, and then that third first down, we'd start by passing it. And I think during the game, like every time we start a first down, possession with the drive, it just kills it immediately. Like
your first down play with a pass.
First down play with a pass. I don't know what I'm saying.
I
don't know what I'm saying, but yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head about coaching in general. I don't know what the passing game plan was going into it, but it did not work. The smash mouth philosophy was working for us, and unfortunately, it only got us 10 points. The 3 Mariota turnovers, of course, killed a lot of promising or potential.
That'll kill any offense, really. But even then, like you said, our offense was still able to generate almost 400 yards total. We outplayed Oakland in total yards. So, like, even with 3 costly turnovers, like
almost 400 yards, and we have 10 points to show for it. That's astounding. That's what turnovers will do. So, are we gonna pin this loss on anyone in particular? Are we gonna dog anyone?
The one thing I want to say about the coaches, and this is kind of dating back to our Mariota segment, is I really hope they're not doing anything to stymie his progression. Like,
there's that word again.
Like trying to contain him too much to a sense where it's like he doesn't have that freedom or he doesn't feel like he has that freedom to just like loosen up and play. They're trying so hard to get him going and like fit in this system and how they want the game plan to go that he's almost like too afraid to kind of like stray from it and make a play. And I hope that's not the case, and I don't want it to be. And I like I said, I don't know because I'm not in the coaching meetings and I'm not a coach talking to Mariota or hearing what they're saying. But I know that can happen. I believe it can happen, and I just hope that this is not the situation. I hope that Marcus has just kind of struggled so far, but that he's going to turn it around. But that's just one thing that would be very bad if that was the case.
That is a good
in
point.
my opinion.
Another thing with the coaching, I know you brought this up when we were talking after the game, but that last play call, I know you weren't a big fan of it. It was 4th and 4 yards to go, so we still could have gotten a first down, and we roll out Mariota and throw. A post or a slant into the corner to Harry Douglas.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that play and what you felt like and what we were trying to do there?
Yeah, and this is just kind of my football philosophy, whether I play Madden or just watch a game. I hate getting down into the red zone, especially within the 10, and just doing those rollout plays. Especially, I don't think it was a play action.
I think the play action would have...
I think a play action would have been all right. I don't think it was play action. It's just a snap where you just kind of shift everyone to the right. And I think that severely limits, it does, I mean, there's no doubt about it, severely limits the field to where all of a sudden the receiver's ground is, shortening with the out of bounds markers coming in. And you just have very, very tight windows to throw the ball in, especially because the defense doesn't have to guard that much ground. They don't have that much ground to make up on, even if you're trying to throw it into the end zone, especially deep in the goal line, because you're already, and I just hate plays like that. I would rather just line up in the shotgun and survey the whole field from that. Yeah,
give him the option because you limit Mariota's options if he needs to tuck it and run it.
Exactly. It's not like he's going to turn around and run all the way back to the left side once he's already kind of rolled out to the right. He only has that small bit of the field to work with, and I don't like limiting quarterbacks, especially running quarterbacks in that situation, deep into the opponent's territory in the red drive.
The red zone.
The red drive. I'm getting fired up. But if I was an NFL coach, I would not run those plays. And I'm not an NFL coach, so that's probably why, because that play probably works most of the time. Yeah. But I just see it so many times where I just think it gets it's just I don't even know what to say.
Let it out. It's okay.
It just plays. I think that'd be really easy to cover for the defense.
Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying about it.
You just cut off that half of the field and you have to worry about it. And I know sometimes you slip out like a tight end on the other side, but even then, that's a hard throw to make across the body. Normally, with pressure by that time, people caving in on the quarterback have to throw it across the field, 40 yards just to get it to a tight end slipping across. But it just.
And I liked how we were using Jason Morrow, the tight end we just got in from the Jets, because I don't think the Raiders expected that. I don't think anybody expected him to be so involved. It would have been nice to get a sneaky play drawn up for him on that last play, because they probably wouldn't have any idea it was coming.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's hard to just pinpoint that play, but it's easy to pinpoint Taylor Lewan's flipping penalty.
There was no doubt about that. Should not have happened.
Man, I'm not going to get
That's
over
easy.
that.
Well, yeah, based on the offensive pass interference, the non-called defensive pass interference, those are judgment things we can argue about all day. The thing we can't argue about is Taylor Lewan's got to clean up those boneheaded plays. Because we wouldn't have even been in those situations with the pass interference calls if he hadn't done that.
So sad.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
And Quentin Spain, also, he just popped into my head. He kind of seemed like he had a rough game, too. I could be wrong, but I think there was a few times during the game when we were like, man, who's that just whiffed on that block? Or I think that he had a few penalties himself. Man, just sloppy offense.
I did hear, and I was tough on Spain during the game. I thought he did whiff on a few blocks, and even on an offsides call, he let the linebacker just go straight by him, just completely missed assignment on his end. But I heard post-game that he was playing with an injury, kind of limping around in the second half. So he was out there not at 100%. Apparently, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt now. I don't think it's anything serious, but could have hindered some of that play that we were hating on him for.
Man, we need to get healthy.
I did see a Dennis Kelly sighting today.
Yep, got
nice to see that
in there.
Bushy long hair flowing around. I hope he
those golden locks
contributes positively to our team.
But keep us cool.
Man, it's we're really close to being 3-0 this year. Could a few plays here.
We're also close to being 0-3.
We're also very close. I know the Lions are saying they should have won last week, but it's a game of inches, game of millimeters, game of seconds. Yep. It's kind of crazy.
Game of not diving into a pile after a play. Should have been whistled dead.
Yeah. I mean, you think if the refs had blown that play dead, a second and a half earlier, Lewan wouldn't have been coming for the pile like that.
He probably still would have done it.
He probably, yeah. See, that's what I'm saying about Lewan. We don't have faith in him. We know that he's going to do those boneheaded plays, and he still does them. Come on, man. Clean up your play, Lewan. It's time to be a leader on this offense. You got to be the leader of this offensive line. It's a bunch of young guys out there, and I think they're looking up to him.
He's a young guy himself,
looking at him,
too, but...
he is, but they're looking up to him to lead that offensive line, and making plays like that in the clutch to just cost your team. That's not getting it done. Any last thoughts? We got the big game against Texans.
I just want to look forward, put this game behind us. Man, this is the second year in a row where this crazy game with the Raiders comes down to the final possession.
And some pass interference or non-pass interference calls.
We lost this game, though. Credit the Raiders. Sure, good job, Raiders. Good luck the rest of the season. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know who you guys play, but if you play any of our divisional opponents, do us a favor and beat the Colts, Jaguars, Texans if you play them. But yeah, big game against Houston next week. I'm excited. Got to put this game behind us. Hey, if we win that game, come on. We'll be tied for first in the division with Houston at 2-2.
Yeah,
we'll have that tiebreaker over them since we beat them. But it won't be easy, even though they just got waxed by the Patriots.
Yeah, and they have 10 days to prepare. They're mad, but we're mad coming off a loss. Both teams coming off a loss, so I think it'll be a good game. We
haven't won in Houston, and good grief, who knows how long.
I think
it'd be sweet to get a win.
I think I heard a stat that we'd beaten Houston once in the last 5 years.
Was that at home though, or was it in Houston?
I'm thinking both. Oh, was our win at home or at Houston?
Yeah,
I don't know.
last time we beat them.
I would assume at home, but who knows?
Yeah, we seem to be better on the road than at home these last few years.
We do. I would like to go to a game that we win.
Yeah, it would be nice to walk back across the bridge to my car, talking about a victory instead of being sad and mopey.
And not having to rant. We rant way more when we lose because there's more emotion there built up, and especially today we're hot and sweaty
and red.
Tired and can't wrap our mind around the Titans losing again because we're the best team in the NFL.
I love the Titans so much.
But it's very early in the year. We're sitting at 1-2. No reason to panic. No reason to hit the panic button yet. Hopefully we'll
It is the AFC South. We can probably drop 10 more games and still be in it.
Exactly. Hopefully we can get some players healthy. Maybe next week we'll have Delaney and Kendall back, which I would love to see our offense with Delaney and Kendall back.
Nice to see Derek Morgan out there. I don't know if he made any plays. He definitely didn't get his name called a lot, but it's good to see him out there still. We do need him.
I still really like our defense so far this year, playing really well. Also, another positive that came out of this game, no major injuries, I don't think, as far as we know, which is always, I think, a taken for granted.
Not sure how...
a loss or a win that we didn't lose any major players to injuries.
It was promising to see the running game also play so well, knowing that Chance Warmack is gone and we have Josh, what's his name, Klein?
Klein, yeah. From the Patriots.
Oh, man, I feel dumb for not knowing.
It's Klein. I know his last name's Klein, like Calvin Klein.
Calvin Klein.
But yeah.
So cool, yeah. So he must have played well. I didn't really hear his number called for any penalties.
I saw Brian Schwenke out there too. I think he's Klein's backup. Yeah, I saw him out there a few plays.
Sweet.
And Dennis Kelly, like I said. So yeah, it's good to see that our offensive line can shift around some players and still produce in the running game.
So I guess we won't miss Warmack too much. Exactly the strong point of the line anyway. But yeah, anyway, that's a long closing thought. Yeah. Because you said that a while ago. But
anyways.
Yeah, I got Houston next week. We'll do another recap like normal, shortened up with some highlights thrown in.
And some of our grades.
And grades, probably going to have a lot of Fs and D minuses on the offensive side.
Especially because we knock a grade down for every turnover. So.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh, if you were grading Marcus, that would be bad, bro.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
No Mahalos this week.
No Mahalos. No.
Yeah, anyways, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
If you ever have a question for us, you can tweet it at us if you want us to cover a question in these podcasts, because that'd be awesome.
And we probably may misstate some facts. We're not experts. We're just fans like you guys. We love the Titans. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we literally get home from the games and do this podcast. So we haven't wrapped our minds around it. I can't even get words to come out of my mouth correctly.
I haven't punched my fist through a wall yet, but I probably will be doing that soon.
So, yeah. So those are just our initial reaction and thoughts to the game that we just witnessed. A loss, unfortunately, this week. But let's get it back together next week. Start turning our focus towards the Houston Texans first divisional game. It's a big one.
Gotta have a short memory. Forget this game. Yeah, first divisional game. I'm pumped too. Let's get them. Get after them.
Marcus, wash that butter off your hands, bro.
Yeah.
Stop turning the ball over. I don't know. Anyways.
No more butter.
Peace out, guys.
Yeah, peace out.
Go Titans.
Tighten up.